And if I added Mr. Blair to the podcast, that'd be great. But we are back, episode 66. Gary Guinn, as he likes to be called, Gwen Stefani, as he told me in the pre-show. So we got him on the show. Thank you all for joining us tonight. This is, as I mentioned, the Throwin Sliders podcast, part of Scrubbin' Tires Media, the #1 racing podcast in the state of Colorado. Thank you all for making that be the case. I'm Brandon Hall, and to my right is the driver of the number 32 ASCS sprint car, Mr. Blair Cooper. And tonight, this episode is brought to you by Hoosier of the Rockies, Sam and Mark Hamilton of Hamilton Motorsports, and obviously the support that they give to the podcast, but more importantly, the local racers each and every single week at the tracks, showing up with basically everything you can want from a race car. You could damn near build one with everything that they have in the trailer. So appreciate you guys. Hoosier of the Rockies, if you haven't done so already, go check them out online, stop by their store, and definitely check them out the next time you're at the track. So without further ado, we'll play the ad and get Mr. Gary Guinn in the show. If you're serious about performance, whether that's on the track or off-road, you already know having the right components and having them readily available is crucial. And that's exactly where Hoosier of the Rockies comes in. They are the official Hoosier tire dealer of Colorado, which makes it incredibly convenient for local racers to get the tires and supplies they need without the hassle of waiting or traveling out of state. What really sets them apart, though, is that they're not just your typical brick and mortar shop. They're right there in the action, trackside supporting racers when it counts most. Whether you need fresh tires between sessions or race weekends, fuel to keep you running, or critical components like radius rods, rod ends, wheels, and more, they've got you covered right then and there. Don't have what you're looking for? No problem. They can also order you and your team just about anything they stock in various sizes, colors, and specifications. Just let them know. That kind of support can make or break a race weekend, and it's why so many drivers trust them when it matters most. On top of that, Mark and Samantha Hamilton of Hamilton Motorsports bring real experience and passion to everything they do. They understand the demands of racing because they live it, and they're always ready with the right recommendations to keep you performing at your best. They race, you race, so let's race together. If you're looking to stay competitive and fully supported on or off the track, check out Hoosier of the Rockies and see why racers across the region rely on them. Call 303-632-6360. Visit them on Facebook, Hamilton Motorsports Racing, or stopping by locally in Arvada, Colorado. Hoosier of the Rockies and Hamilton Motorsports, a proud partner of Scrubbin' Tires Media and the Throwin Sliders podcast. All right, and there he is, Mr. Gary Guinn. Welcome to the show, buddy.
Hello, how are you guys today?
Doing well, man. Doing well. Long time no see. It's been half a month already since we last saw you, which is crazy.
I know, right? Doesn't seem like it was that long ago, though.
No. It's the racing season for you. So anyway, obviously for the folks that do not know, you are the promoter of the 360 Wing Desert Series, primarily based in New Mexico, Arizona. You were up in El Paso County for that doubleheader 2 weeks ago, as I just mentioned. I guess we'll get into that, but Blair and I, the podcast following Blair's win that Friday night, really gave you guys kudos from top to bottom on the show that you guys run, and the staff you have, and everything from top to bottom. It was really good, and obviously got to meet you and your wife. So yeah, now you're on the show. Funny how that works, but we'll get right into it. You obviously in the pre-show and talking with you during tech after Blair's win, have an interesting career in racing and how you got to where you are today. So yeah, we want to get right into it. So how did you become involved in racing? Obviously you have a racing career still, but take us back from day one.
So yeah, day one, let's see. I think I went to my first dirt track. I was probably 4 months old. So my dad in high school, back up in the 1960s, there was a racetrack that opened up just north of where my grandparents lived at, right? And it was like maybe 4 or 5 miles from the house. So they went over there, started building race cars, started racing in the 60s. For the last 5 years that track was open, my family with aunts and uncles and stuff were promoting the racetrack. When that closed down in 70, I believe 70 or 71, that finally ended. And then they all started coming up to Albuquerque or down to Albuquerque to race. And from there, my dad grew up around his uncles racing, and of course knew his mom and dad had raced. My dad started helping out a friend because my dad didn't like driving them. He liked working on them, liked building them, but he didn't like to drive them. So he was helping a friend of his in high school. And at 4 months old, my mom went to work and my dad said, well, he's coming to the races with me. And then that got me hooked on racing. From that point on, I wanted to drive. And at 14, I bought a car. By 16 or 17, I think I finally got to race it. And I did okay, not great, but I tore up a lot of stuff in the beginning and then had to learn why we do the things that we do with air pressures or shocks or tires. And then from there, I started actually doing pretty decent and won a few hobby stock races and finished third in points and said, I think it's time I move up. So we bought a B mod, started running a X mod at the time is what they called them down here, but basically a B mod.
Barry will be happy if he's watching. Barry loves the mods.
Yeah. So I raced that for a while, and that was really rough back then. You're talking, let's see, 12, 13, 14, that time frame. I had the car for 4 years. I think I finished 4 main events. Between just bad luck, parts breaking, whatever. It made it where I almost didn't want to race anymore. And then started helping a buddy of mine at his races. He was racing a non-wing sprint car. And then drove a stock car for him at one time, and then went back into, bought a mini sprint, started driving mini sprints, thought that was pretty fun. Realized, hell, other than the price of the motor, everything else costs the same as a big car. So why don't I just buy a big car? So I started Buckley non-wing racing with a Buckley car. I sucked, absolutely terrible. Non-wing and me, I don't know how to do it. So I ended up, my house burned down in 2019, and then I won 2 cars in 2 separate raffles. And a buddy of mine out of Gallup with Auto City used car sales happened to have a sprint car motor. We put it in, and I went wing racing with the help of Jerry Mosier and Jason Tanner, and I loved it. So after that, me and Jesse Baker during COVID, me and him were talking about, man, if we had our own series and we could do, money wasn't an option, how would we do it? What would we do? Different than ASCS Southwest was doing. And we came up with a really good idea. And Jesse said, yeah, we'll never find anyone to run it. So I called Chad Tensky, who was running Aztec Speedway at the time. And he said, yeah, I'll do it. So he did it for about a year. Halfway through, he said, man, you guys are taking this shit too serious. So if this is as serious as you guys are going to be, I'm going to go have fun with my friends racing go-karts in my backyard again. I won't run the series another year. And I said, well, hell, man, this thing's got to be serious. So I parked my sprint car and I started helping out with Chad. And
what year was this?
That was in 2021.
2021. Okay.
Yeah. And then 2022, I ran it, basically me and my wife and family friends, and we ran it for 2022. And then 2023, it was me, my wife, my nephew, and my niece, and they would come and help us out. And it's just been that way pretty much ever since. I have a few friends here and there come out and give us a hand at a race, a big race especially. But yeah, for the most part, it's just me, my wife, and my daughter now, who, although I didn't have her with me in the infield at El Paso because it was a rodeo arena, normally I have her with me and I'm teaching her how to set up the chalk line, how to set up the cones, how to do the choose cone, whatever. She's listening to me on the radio. That way she understands what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. And she's going to, hopefully at the end of this summer, when things kind of slow down for our season a little bit, I can get her mini sprint fixed and she can go racing herself.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I want her to be able to do both, makes you a better driver.
Speaking of the choose cone, obviously in the driver's meeting there at El Paso that Friday night, we were listening to you talk about that. And unfortunately, we didn't get to utilize that, right? In the main, it went from flag to flag and didn't even get to see that. excited. Not to say I want cautions, but you don't really see that too much at the local level with a
Well,
choose
Blair,
cone,
you
so.
raced Saturday, and we had a couple of the choose cones on Saturday night. What did you think of those?
I liked it because I was back there when it got that slick. I thought there was a couple times I was trying to do the math and look at what everybody was picking up there in front of me, being towards the back. And there was one time I took the outside of the choose cone. I knew that was the bad lane and not the place you wanted to be, but I think there was 3 guys ahead of me that picked underneath. So I ended up clearing maybe 1 or 2 of them, and then they ended up probably getting back around me because the line was plugged up. But yeah, it definitely, I do like it. And I think what we thought was smart was that you guys took it away for the last 5 laps so that everybody just didn't absolutely dive bomb each other. So I really do. I like the choose cone, unless you're probably in second, maybe, or so it depends on where you're lining up and what kind of car you got. But that's just the luck of some nights. It probably help you. Some nights it might hurt you.
Well, and so I did this big thing last year where we were talking, and I said I'm going to do freedom of choice, and my freedom of choice decided with me that we were going to start doing, with the top 8 redraw, I was going to let the pole car pick inside or outside lane, and then I wanted to do a choose cone. And we did it at the High Desert Nationals, our first big race that we had at Vado Speedway Park in Vado, New Mexico. And it worked really well. We liked it. So we said, okay, we're going to keep doing it. And I thought, man, you get the freedom of choice. And what I mean is you now have the choice to make your race or lose your race. If you want to be a hero, you can try the outside line when no one else is. And, maybe you're a hero or maybe you're a zero, right? Maybe that bottom line is just too fast. But at the same time, I've been watching track conditions too. And if the track conditions aren't there to hold a 2-line race, or I don't see that it's there to hold a 2-line race, then I kind of want to go back to doing a single file with a cone. So I leave that kind of in there as a what if, you get on a real dry, slick, dusty track and there's just no chance of passing. That you run too wide, you're probably going to tear something up. And man, sprint car racing's expensive enough. I don't want you guys tearing stuff up. But that freedom of choice also came around because we were talking about it and with drivers, and we've been doing it for a year, about what do you think about bringing in another tire instead of just being on Hoosiers. At first we were with Power Eye. So Power Eye, much like ASCS, wants you to remain on a Hoosier tire. So we remained on that Hoosier tire. And Power Eye and me had a real good thing going, I thought. For the time I was there and what we had going, it helped us with a legitimacy from birth. So that helped a lot. And then, I had people, sponsors even, and some drivers who were like, oh, we'll see how this season goes without Power Eye. But that's where I really started pushing this idea of, what, if you're going to have the option to choose inside lane or outside lane when you get pole, high limit does it already. So what's different there, right? The choose cone, well, I've seen choose cones at everything from NASCAR all the way down to the local dirt track. So, nothing wrong with it there. I did have some drivers tell me, man, if you start too wide on a restart, we're going to tear a bunch of stuff up. And I said, well, tell me why you can make the first 12 laps work, but you can't make the last 12 laps work, because y'all didn't tear anything up until lap 12 and you started side by side. So if I restart you side by side, as long as there's a groove on the top and a groove on the bottom, you should be okay and be able to do another 12 laps. And he kind of agreed begrudgingly, but now he likes it. It just took him going from 6th to, from like 12th to 6th. Nobody chose the outside lane at Sholo one weekend. And
is that who you were referencing in the drivers meeting when you said that? Okay.
Yep. So Rick Zeal just decided, I'm going to go to the outside. No one else is. I will. And man, he got up by a lot of cars and stayed in front of them. So, it's definitely a make or break situation, but it gives it another facet to make the fans interested to see where their favorite driver is going to go and why. And I think if you make the racing more interesting for the fan, that you're going to win. And if you make the racing more interesting for the driver, you're going to win. So there's not a downside to it, right? So as I was talking about with the tire, I wasn't getting much financial backing out of Power Ride. Surely not what I thought we should get. And it wasn't rubbing me the right way. And there was always an excuse, like you guys didn't have enough cars to join the membership, or you just didn't have enough races, or whatever it may be. So after we did that $10,000 to win the first High Desert Nationals, and then it was still an excuse on why there was no money to help out with our champ fund. That's when I said I'm just going to go my own way. And in going my own way, I'm no longer locked into having Hoosier as my only tire. So, durometered out an MC2 American Racer. It was one off of a Hoosier medium. So we said, well, what's the cost difference? And when we found out the cost difference, that's when we decided we had to do this, because it's the only way in motorsports we can save somebody money who's a racer. And I'm going to say this because, Blair, you'll get this. Sprint car drivers, or any race car driver really, is their own worst enemy when it comes to making racing more expensive. Because we all want to go fast, and we all want to go fast, longer and faster and quicker. So we push for rules because, hey, I can do this. And you're right. A lot of guys can, like ASCS, in my opinion, went completely downhill after they allowed ported heads. It upped the money, right? Now, you can find some places are more expensive than others, but you got a ton of money in engines these days. And I've heard numbers from 60,000 all the way up to 80,000 if you don't have anything, right? That's just you walk in, you buy a motor, and you leave. How many people in America can actually do that? Right? Like, there's few of us. So we want to have more people to race with. So we got to find a way to bring the cost down so we can get more people out there. So, I've thrown around, we've had other heads allowed in this series before, and nobody showed up with them. So it's kind of proved to me that most everybody has ASCS style heads. I still allow the 11X heads, as stock, or with the gasket from Brodex, if you can still find the gaskets. I want people to be able to come out and race and have fun and be responsible and respectful of each other. We all get it. It's expensive. We shouldn't be tearing each other up for 11th, 12th place. So, I've kind of structured the pay field so it doesn't really behoove you too much to move up in the back 10, as far as you're not going to tear each other up for a position, because the positions are so tightly paid to basically be the same in the back 10. Moving up from that, though, I want to see you guys race, but I'm still not going to pay you enough to destroy your car and go get another one. You know what I mean?
So I have a question on that, Gary. So taking over the 360 Wing Desert Series, how much say do you have as it relates to rules, to performance, or the cars? How much is it all you? Do you get to say what goes, or do you have some overhead that's kind of guiding you, if you will?
I have no one over me. I'll put it that way.
Must be nice.
Yeah. So this year, we got a new sponsor with Gary Engines. So now we're the Gary Engines Wing Desert Series, and on our stuff, right? But he's helped me out tremendously. And what I mean by that is I started talking to him about rules. So we wanted to bring in, we had someone call us, another motor engine builder, and he said, hey, I want to build this LS sprint car motor. And I was very leery of it because I'd already heard of another LS motor that people wanted to start putting in sprint cars. But that one still had electronic fuel injection, electronic timing. You could plug a computer into it and tune it however you really wanted. And even though they said, oh, well, you can't do that, there's always a way, and someone will always find a way, right? So I wasn't real happy with that idea. And then these guys said, no, it's a mechanically fuel injected sprint car motor, LS. So we talked about it, and we talked about it, and we talked about it. And a lot of guys kind of got mad when I brought it up, because they're like, well, depending on what block you use, that could be over cubic inch. Sure, it could be. But are you really going to be afraid of a stock block, stock crank, stock rod, stock head LS motor with your $75,000, you know, bad to the bone ASCS motor? And they said, well, it's just, it's not a horsepower deal. I get that. It's not a horsepower deal. But eventually, we've already seen that steel blocks have kind of gone the way of the dodo. They're not making a lot of steel blocks anymore for the small block Chevy stuff, right? You can get aluminum now. And of course, everyone's all into the aluminum block. I think it was another mistake that went wrong with ASCS on allowing the aluminum block. But that's my opinion, right? Because it just didn't need to be there. Everyone else already had steel blocks. And what we needed to do was keep the manufacturers making the steel blocks, because now they're getting almost impossible to find. So, you know, it's really becoming one of those issues. And it's just the things that I see in racing that don't make sense. And I wanted to try to a way to try to make it right and do what was right for both the track and the racer. And I feel like we've done really good at trying to do that with every facility we visit, with every track we go to. You know, I came up there to play in your guys' backyard, and I feel like, you know, I kind of was able to do our rules, our stuff, and I didn't hear anyone complain about it. Like, you know, Blair, you beat all of my guys. I brought my fastest guys, and you beat all of them on Friday night, right? Mm-hmm. Saturday night, we had a Canadian win. So, you know, that's awesome, right? Like, I'd never had a Canadian in my series before. So that was even cooler. But it's one of those things of what can we do right and what can we do that just makes racing better or safer or cheaper. So, you know, we started out the different tires. Like, for instance, this year we have a completely open tire rule. If you want to run a Dirt X tire, you want to run a Hoosier tire, you want to run an American Racer tire, I don't care. You know, if you want to run a wedge tire, you can run that. I'm more about you guys coming out and racing and having fun, not tearing up equipment and saying, man, that was a great weekend. Can't wait to do it again. It makes the fans happy. It makes the drivers happy. It makes the the tracks happy. It makes everybody happy, including the sponsors, you know?
Sure. Well, that we talk about it all the time, is that cars on the track put asses in the seats pay the purses, and it's all cyclical, right? I mean, it's just basic economics of the sport.
Of course.
But you do even have, like, when you started mentioning that, I see that there are other 360 series in the country that are opening up a lot of different things, and not following the baseline package, like you said, with the tires. But we also have a bigger test case in Australia. A lot of the Americans who went down there this year, even on a bigger right rear tire, I think they were on an 18-inch. You can basically run what you brung. And obviously, guys, you know, if they can figure it out on something cheaper, that would be, you know, I mean, obviously the teams that are truly dedicated to being fast, that aren't, you know, kind of to do it for fun, and we just want to, you know, run as well as we can. The guys that are out there to win are going to spend the money to bolt on whatever works the best. But say that cuts you down. You say you could only race 8 times. Maybe you go to a couple shows where, you know, the track's either going to take rubber. You know, you can put on that cheaper tire and just trash them and wear them out, or you can, you know, at least substitute in some. Like I think when we came down to Aztec that time, by the second night, I threw on a Race Saver right rear because I had torched both rears, you know, and maybe even both Race Savers. And I mean, it was trash too. But I think we were like $45 cheaper or something.
Oh yeah.
I couldn't tell the difference in the car once it took rubber. A little early, it was kind of, you know, you could tell I wasn't making as much bite. But I mean, when you go 8-10 laps and now you've got them sticky hot and it's you know, train tracks, it doesn't matter. So at least that gives you an option.
Yeah, I'll tell you the part I liked about it. So last year, my champion and second place both ran American Racers pretty much the entire season. They'd have a few Hoosiers that they'd burn off here or there on a practice night or something like that that were used, or maybe they had a brand new one that they'd been waiting for. But anyway, they mostly just ran American Racers. And they all both said the same thing. And it really surprised me, which was they thought those tires would take off faster and that they didn't need as a heat cycle, or after they'd heat cycle, instead of, getting harder, that they would actually get better. I also had guys say, they just fire right away. Whereas a Hoosier, you kind of got to wait on it. I've had also other drivers say, man, I couldn't stand that tire. I didn't feel like I had control in my right rear. So it's kind of a hit and miss on, seems like preference almost. But I will say that the guys that ran American Racer did have to put more gear in their car, average of about 15 points to keep the same RPM level that they had with the Hoosier.
Interesting.
And that was at Sholo, right, at Deuce Clubs.
Okay.
So, when you're down there, depending, some nights it's, really tacky and really fast, and other nights, you fight wind or sun, and that's always the problem in the Southwest, right? Wind and sun.
Sure.
And even for you guys in El Paso, wind and sun, right? It just beats on a racetrack. But if it gets to be a more of a one-line racetrack, the American Racer seems to last a little bit longer than the Hoosier as well. We noticed that last season at our big show at the High Desert Nationals at Vado, and that was just a good deal. I mean, we paid $10,000 to win that night, and you go around and look, and it's like, wow, there was a arrangement of tires and how worn out they were. So it was pretty neat to see. But that's a place we can save a driver money, and if I can save you money, Blair, how many more times do you come to the racetrack?
Sure. Yeah, no, it definitely is. It is a complicated thing too, because it's like you do start to develop notes, and I would be a little nervous to travel 12 hours or something on something I've never raced. But even if you could do a shakedown and test, and not that we'd have any notes for any of those places, so I guess there's really nothing to lose. You kind of just adapt to what you have. But it's definitely something that I think guys are going to have to start getting creative, because even though we had a pretty good show there, 16 cars for like a 3-series combined deal, and granted it's Calhan. So small racetrack guys kind of know what they're going to get when they get there, that have been from the north more so than you guys. But, it makes it tough. So it is pretty.
And out of all the races we've had in 6 years, 16 cars is our second to lowest car count we've ever had.
Damn, that's impressive.
I have to detour you here, Gary. We can't. These guys are out of control. We have to just take a quick detour and talk about. You got to tell us about this bang bus.
Yeah, we've had like 20 comments.
All right. So when me and my wife started doing this, and our family friends, we were going, and we were buying the hotel rooms, right? We would stay in the hotel rooms. I would pull the merchandise trailer with my pickup. We'd park it. We'd set it up, keep it all locked up, and hope nothing happened to it, right? So 2 years ago, I said, man, that's just too expensive. And I said, man, I got to be able to find a way to do this better. Well, for a while, I sold buses, transit buses in the state of New Mexico, like state contract stuff. We had taken this bus in on trade, and I think we got it for like $500 is what we gave them for trade. And I said, hey, I'll give you guys $1,250 for this bus. So everyone wins, right? The sales guy gets to make a commission. You guys get to make more money on this thing than you bought it for. There's profit everywhere. I get what I want, cheap.
Is there a photo of this? We can pull it up anywhere.
I don't know. There might be one on my wife's Facebook page.
I'm on it.
Yeah. Go ahead, Brandon.
So anyway, I bought this 45-foot Starcraft bus that Highlands University in New Mexico used to travel their like rugby and soccer team, right? And I ripped all the seats out of it, and I turned 2 around and put in a table and built my own dinette set right behind the driver's seat. Me and the wife went down to Home Depot, picked out some cabinets, and bought a table, like a countertop thing, and put it on. And I took a sink out of like what you'd put in a garage that I got like at a yard sale or something, and mounted that in there so that way my wife could take the handle and wash her hair at least. And then we put a toilet and a little bathroom behind that, and then the other side is just bunk beds. And then there's a queen bed for me and my wife in the very back. So
Does it spin?
no, it doesn't spin. Doesn't spin.
Turntable?
No
Heart-shaped.
turntables or anything like that. I did finally put curtains up between all of the bunks, so that way, like, you
Good
have
idea.
a little bit of privacy. I don't really have a lot. I have a little bit, but my slot between like the bathroom and the bunk bed is pretty small, so we have a little bit of privacy there, but not a whole lot. And then the dinette folds into a bed that's like 6'8", so I can sleep 7 people in this thing, comfortably.
Nice.
7 people, right? It's tight with luggage. It's tight with drinks and things like that. So there's not a lot of storage. That's the only downside to it. And it's got like 208,000 miles on it when I bought it, and I think it's got like 226 on it now. So it doesn't have a lot of miles. It was cheap. I think I built it for less than $5,000.
Really?
Yeah.
Why are you the folks in the comments want to know why you didn't do the episode live in the Bang Bus?
Because really the Bang Bus thing about this has really only sparked off since like this season. I found out about this at the first race this season down in Vado, and that's when I was made aware of the Bang Bus. And then from there, El Paso came, and that's when Aiden Saunders was like, I got to take a tour of this thing. So we took him in.
I was just going to ask, was it at El Paso? I didn't see
Yep.
it. But...
Yeah, I had it parked on the back fence line, like the north fence line, right behind the building there, by Gossett's dad, actually.
I gotcha. Oh, I drove right by it then.
Yeah.
Damn it.
It's just a big white bus that says New Mexico on it still, but the
Not
plan
state penitentiary or anything?
No. The plan is I was going to scrape all the New Mexico off of there, and then we were going to put 360 Desert Wing Series down it with our logo. But then we got the Gertie sponsorship, and I just haven't used my own money to buy that sticker yet, because I could probably take some of the money out of what he gave me, but I'm trying to make sure that and much more goes to the drivers at the end of the year. So
that's fair.
Well,
now I know.
So this will be a little bit of challenge for all the racers. I know we got a lot of Southwest guys in here, some Northern Plains, so guys from all over. So if you see this bus on the road, the expectation will now be.
Oh, here we go.
I'm just going to walk over around the house here and take you guys to it.
Live on location.
Might as well. I'm right here.
While you're doing this, so if you guys see this Bang Bus out on the road with Gary and his wife in it, the objective is now to put an upside down pineapple sticker on that thing, so we can see if when they put it in the Walmart parking lot, if they get some knocks on that door.
All right, you want to hear something
saying that right when I took a drink?
So let me tell you something really funny about saying that. My in-laws live in Florida, and they come out here and spend the summer with us. Well, I put an upside down pineapple on top of the orange on the license plate, and they didn't notice it for a while. It was pretty hilarious.
So now you got payback coming.
Ta-da!
That's nice.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That thing is slipstream, baby.
Yeah.
Damn, look at that thing.
Yeah. You gotta have
45 feet long.
Dice. That thing needs to be pimped out.
Yeah.
No, you know what I do have though? I've got the privacy curtains and all that stuff in there, and on all the doors and the windows and such, right? But my wife was talking to me about this, and she said I needed to do something that would keep the kids entertained. So I think we're gonna have to put a TV and a DVD player in it, but that's gonna be about as far as it goes. But
what about a slide off the back?
Face, because Aiden and I had Starlink in the Bang Bus before you did in your race hauler.
Oh, there you go. You got Starlink in there. We're stepping up in the world.
Actually, I had to let the track borrow it the other night.
There you go. Barry wants to know, was the name given or earned? How did that come about?
So it was given before anyone knew it had been earned. But yeah.
Perfect. Good answer. Well said. Oh man. Well, thank you for the tour of the Bang Bus.
Man.
That was we don't.
Well, I mean, I would have opened it up. I just don't have the keys on me. So
No, it's all good. That's a nice rig.
Yeah, thank you.
I think somebody
ahead.
needs to also, if we could get some mirrors donated for the ceilings, we could get some shag carpet in there. We're gonna need the swivel bed. I mean, let's really go all the way if we're gonna do
Yeah.
it. So that's next time I see that thing.
Oh, come here. Hold on. You guys got outvoted.
Uh-oh. Hey,
You said no
Jessica
carpet,
making
no
an
mirrors.
I've been listening the whole drive home.
Perfect. Well, we appreciate you. Thank you for letting him tour the bang bus for us.
Yeah, I was reading through the comments. I was like, oh, Connor.
No, they were hot and heavy on it, so we're glad we got that out of the way.
Oh, and Brayson.
Yep.
And then my daughter Alabama came to also say hi. So
Hello,
Cool.
welcome to the podcast.
she sprinted in from softball practice, put on her official shirt and her Votto hat, and then ran over here. So
That's awesome.
Yeah.
There were some comments about people loving that it's a family affair, and it definitely is.
Yeah, I tried
Absolutely.
to quit last year and then I didn't, and now it looks like
It wasn't
at least a
homeschooled.
few more years I'm gonna keep doing it.
Yeah, you're in it. You're in it.
Nice. The kids want to
Well,
race?
Yeah, so Alabama's got a my old micro. I'm gonna put her in it later this summer, and then my son has her quarter midget. But when she got the quarter midget, it was like during COVID, so we weren't able to race it. And then I had a hernia operation; it was a whole thing. So my son's gonna drive for that car for the first time. The same weekend, I'm gonna take them both up to Cart Canyon and Aztec and let them see what they can do.
Very cool.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, back
And
to the
we do have a
diversity.
Camaro that-
Oh, go ahead.
I'm gonna drive, and then my wife's gonna drive after that. So
Damn. Busy
Yeah.
family.
trying.
I was going to say back to the we'll call it the diversity of allowing different tire manufacturers. I remember back in 2019 when I ran the offset carts on dirt.
Mhm.
Obviously not the same thing as a sprint car, but they had an open tire rule, and I chose to go with the pink and blue Burris. And then other folks started running Hoosiers, mainly on the bigger carts. But then the Vega tire came into play, and it really was like night and day difference based on the style of track and all the rubber that would take up on that, because it was a flat track, or is a flat track track first and foremost, and then they just sprinkle in carts. But it is amazing to see, number one, that tracks are still trying to add some diversity, if you will, to like, hey, as long as it's legal and you're not doping it up, like just bring it, man. Like run it, and we all can learn. And then people are going to start talking in the garage, in the pits, right? Like, oh shit, Blair's running American Racer, and like maybe I need to do that. And then it just kind of creates more racing within the racing strategy and stuff. So I think again, hats off to you guys. I know I opened the show with that, but hats off to you
Other
guys
thing that people don't realize that I think is important. So let's say I'll use myself. Let's say I'm racing, right? And I have an open tire rule, but I like racing American Racer, or I like racing Hoosier, right? If I'm doing good and winning, I might be able to go back over to Hoosier and say, hey, like I'm winning with your tire in this open tire thing. Can you guys help me out with the price? Maybe they say yes, maybe they don't. Maybe American Racer says yes and Hoosier doesn't. But why are the series and the people that already get our money also getting a kickback on the tires? And why are we doing that for a champ fund? We could raise completely separate and lower the price of this mandated part to the constituency. That's my whole thing, right? Like, if you can't find a way to make it cheaper for the driver or produce the best product, what's the incentive? If you're just going to give everybody money and make the tires $1,000 a pop, then okay, yeah, someone can give you $1 million for a champ fund or something, right? But I just don't understand why the series are trying to do that when we should be helping the drivers to get to the track, not cutting their throat to get them there, right?
Right. Yeah, no doubt. Have you, like, going to all these tracks, have you heard from the track promoters, or maybe a different series that you're kind of blending, like El Paso is a good example, talking with, the promoters of the track and or an ASCS person and you start bouncing ideas off of each other, because obviously they're going to, if they don't know about this, they're going to find out about kind of the diversity and what you're trying to do. Have you guys started to have those conversations, or are they just stuck in their way saying, to hell with what Gary's doing, we're going to stick to what we're doing?
I just had a conversation last week with Lonnie Wheatley from ASCS, and it was kind of I've got this big race in Vado, and then for the first year their ASCS race and mine doesn't go over top of one another. But then we added this other show at Yuma as well, and it's another 5 and 10, 500 to start night 1, 1,000 or 900 to start night 2. 5,000 to win night 1, 10,000 to win night 2. And now that we're not going to be competing over the same date, we're hoping that some of my guys will go race with the ASCS national guys, and I'm hoping some of those ASCS national guys will come race with us. As far as doing the rule stuff, they have sponsors and higher ups to answer to, and I don't.
Sure.
So I was just like, hey, you guys are already legal to come race with me. I don't want to exclude any drivers. So like if Sam Haferteep shows up at one of my races, I'm going to do the same inspection, the same stuff, the same everything. And I'm going to hold my rules to account. And I'll be the first to tell you, I made Rico Abreu really, really mad. And I didn't mean to. It was just, that's the way my rules were written, right? If you brought out the caution, you fall to the tail, regardless of what it was. He hit the wall. I and everyone else thought for sure he's going over. He saved it. And I didn't have a blend rule. Well, I learned. Now I have a blend rule. So if that happens, we're going to blend you in wherever it was, and we're going to go back to racing, right? I've learned, and every time I learn, I talk to drivers. So if a track or driver or anyone else says, hey, I think this is something we should look at changing, I start considering and I start asking around. And I've got drivers that have been racing sprint cars since before I was born, that I go and ask ideas off of. And, hey, have you ever seen this? Or how did this work before we all
feedback?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that way we can make something better. And that's the whole goal, right? Make sprint cars great again. My hat's in there. And
no, that's honestly awesome. And I think we could probably have another episode just on changes that we can make to make everything better. Obviously this year,
ASCS 2 years ago, and they didn't like my proposal at the time.
Well, if car counts continue to be what they are, or even worse, decline, then I think all the promoters are going to probably have to have some sort of meeting or alliance to say, hey, what's, Gary, what's working for you down there, and vice versa up in the north and east, west, all over the place. But yeah, I think, Blair and I hammer on it probably at least every episode at some spot or time in the episode, looking back on it. But collectively we have to do something to keep not just sprint cars, but racing alive. And it really is, not to geek out here, but it is refreshing to hear there are people that are in a position, if you will, such as yours and your wife's, to take it and say, hey, we're more driver centric, and I'm a driver myself, and here's how we think we can help people, instead of these promoters that are just, this is how we're doing it, this is how we've done it for 25 years, and if you don't like it, then don't show up, because that's at the end of the day not going to help anybody.
Oh, 100%. It just, you have to ask that question of, if it worked for 50 years, why do we change it? Well, do we change it to make more drivers? Do we change it to make more money? Or do we change it because someone's willing to put money into our pocket to change it? Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, racing has always kind of been that, if you got to have the money to make the money, you know what I mean? If you got a lot of money, you can get a better car. You got a lot of money, you can get a better motor, better tire, whatever it may be. I've had guys literally during COVID call me and say, hey, I want to come race, but I don't have this tire because I don't have the right last name for the region I live in to get a tire. So, we all know what that was like during COVID. But I mean, that's the stuff I'm trying to make sure we don't have happen again. We want to have those tires. We want to have the diversity in an engine that could be competitive, or at least get someone started, right? But we have to work on that. In a whole, we have to try to get more kids to the racetrack. That's something that we all have to think and do better about. Spencer Hill brings everybody candy every time, right? Gives it out to kids. Like at the top 8 redraw. Like I wish more drivers did that, or sign a kid's autograph. Get those.
What'd you say, Blair?
I go sus, but yes, he does.
He does. He does. But I mean, it's those little things that the kids will remember, right? That sprint car driver gave me the candy. And then, he walks by the merchandise trailer and says, "Hey, look, there's that driver that gave me the candy shirt. Mom, can I get his shirt?" Absolutely. And then now you've got money back in your pocket because you sold the shirt for the price of a second and a handshake.
I thought something creative you guys did when I was the first time I'd ever raced with the series was like I was able to take my t-shirts to the merch booth, and then like I had a trash nose wing from I think the second night. And so for those promoters or anybody that doesn't know this down there, when we had something happen or parts were broke or like guys had wing boards and stuff, they would actually take them to the booth. You could tell them a price. I think you guys took like $1 a shirt if we sold them or something, so we didn't have to jack with it.
I think we did $5 back then, or maybe $3 when we first started doing it.
Okay.
We had to round it up to 5 to like make it worth it to. So we can tell you basically what we can do in shirt sales on an average. However, El Paso did kill our average on that big time.
Yeah.
Those fans don't like to buy stuff, but or there was just too much of a selection, right? But there was something. Anyway, that was the worst in sales we've done since we opened the trailer. But normal nights, we do about $1,500 to $2,000 through there in money coming in, and then of that, I bet $1,400 of it goes out to the drivers, and we end up making like $100 or $200 on it, and that's like barely pays for the fuel to get the trailer to the track and home.
Yeah, no kidding.
You know what I mean?
Sure. Well, no.
But one of the things like that though is we had a family come up because they would always stay at their trailer to sell their merchandise, and the mother and daughter of the team, they never got to watch the races together. And so when we first did that first race, they had brought us their stuff. We went ahead, we sold it for them, and it was a pretty emotional, impactful conversation afterwards, because it was the first time that they'd ever been able to watch their dad/husband watch the race together. So it was
a
lot
cool.
of come out of it.
Yeah. And today's day and age, Blair, maybe 10 fans came into the pits after the races. I don't know how many, but it wasn't many. The days of fans coming in and spending, another hour or two in the pits talking to drivers has kind of ended. So we need to have those merchandise pieces where the fans are, because we're not going to sell them in the pits. So once we started doing the trailer, guys who had the same shirts for 4 or 5 years, suddenly we're ordering new shirts. And now, pretty much every year to 2 years, they're all getting new shirts.
Yeah, it's well, and the thing is obviously time, but I do think it depends on the track too. Like if people even know that they can get it, because when we went to Nebraska last year or year before, I literally, like you said, there were so many people in the pits after the race that I think I signed stuff for an hour, and I think it was a national tour race, but I think I literally finished like 13th or something, and it was just like bulls on parade at the trailer. You know what I mean? Because kids don't really care. They just find cars they like or see all these guys. And we sold out of shirts that night, or at least what we had brought with us. And so I think it depends on, like, obviously you guys promoting it, but even if the track would have known to maybe say, hey, give these guys a heads up, it's little stuff like that. Even I wanted to bring up too something unique you guys do that I've really enjoyed the first time I was down there. I've been lucky enough to make the redraw 3 out of 4 times, and to even go in the front of the stands to where you can see the drivers, a little intermission, and we picked the Frisbees that night. I think in Aztec it was footballs, but just the fan interaction, and people are so excited even for a free t-shirt or something. And luckily that was the one I picked, the number 1. So when I won, somebody got a t-shirt, just little stuff like that. I would even donate a shirt for something like that, when we're racing. It's like, because that really gets the kids involved, and not just sitting there for 4 hours. That's tough when you got a 5-year-old, even if they like racing.
Oh yeah, and my wife does pretty good. Normally she'll get like toy cars or like the little die-cast sprint cars that you pull back, and usually has something like that in the trailer, ear protection, that kind of stuff. But the other big thing that we do that sets us apart from what I've been hearing around the country, I do a pretty good tech every night, and that's something that a lot of people go, "Hey man, that's different." Normally I have the pump at the track, so we'll pump them and make sure they're 360 cubic inch. You guys got to see my bore scope, and I'll go in an oil pan, down the head, whatever, up the muffler. We'll look at all of it to make sure that the guy that won the race legitimately won.
Yep.
Yeah, and I appreciated that because
I did too.
That's good to have. I didn't mind. Like we ended up shooting the shit for, you tech the car, went over it, kind of told us what you're doing, and let me blow the cylinder out so I didn't drop any dirt down the intake or anything. So take our time, let you look at what you want to do, and then it keeps everybody at least a little bit on their toes. It's like it's just not free reign to do whatever you want. Because honestly, I'm just not smart enough to cheat up a sprint car, to be honest. So, and get away with it. But I've always had legal cars. And so I appreciate knowing that other guys are at least being held to a little bit of account. And we don't see a whole lot of hardcore tech on the road anymore. I think last year, Chris McCauley in Northern Plains made me pull the headers off after going the last 15 laps flat-footed or something at Sweetwater, like 10 laps flat-footed and almost. So that thing was absolutely glowing red. I was like, really? We're just going to sit here for a while because the leather gloves were smoking trying to take the headers off. But stuff like that, you do kind of appreciate.
Yeah, and I try to make sure you guys have the time to let the motor cool off enough that, not that it puffs different, but at least that you're not melting your gloves trying to take the stuff off, right? Because I've, as a driver, I know how bad that sucks. As a mechanic, I know how bad that sucks. And I don't want someone in that position. So,
yeah. Well, and I think to Jesse Baker's comment there, I can put it on the screen if I can find my mouse. Are any of the Colorado guys going to come run with us at the Sholo show? And we were talking about that in tech with you. And I think collectively speaking, I think I speak for everybody that was at El Paso those 2 nights or listening to the show now. I think what you all do is obviously spreading, right, in a good way. And I think a lot of people from this region are going to start coming to run with you guys because of the intricacies, right, that you guys do. We might not get tech here. We might do the intermission stuff or have the trailer or just be it's all that, like I said earlier, it's been the same thing for year over year. And people, I think collectively, obviously I don't run a sprint car, but being around Blair enough and watching it and seeing it, they're kind of ready for something different. So my hope, and obviously one of the reasons of having you and your wife come on the show is to showcase what you guys do and to spread the word, right? Like it's not like this everywhere, right? And I'm not just talking shit on Colorado racing, but we're advocates that we want to make it better here. And here's a prime example of how, by some of the things you're doing. So to answer your question, Jesse, yes, I think some of the Colorado drivers will be headed southwest.
Well, I hope you all come down, not just for the July 9th and 10th show at Sholo, but we're also going to be in Cortez and later in July. We usually try to stick to 1-2 day show a month. That way anyone and everyone with a sprint car has the ability to make it to the racetrack. But had to reschedule our April show to July. So with that being said, I hope you guys come down for that one as well. And then, November, we've got a great year at the end off the year. We've got our High Desert Nationals at Toronto Speedway Park. And then right after that, we go to Casa Grande at Avanti Raceway Park. We race there a week off. And then we go to Yuma. And Yuma is going to be our last big show. It'll be the Copper State Nationals. And that will, just like the High Desert Nationals, will pay $5,000 to win, $500 to start, $10,000 to win, $900 to start. And we do $200 for B main non. In those
you might have to move in. We're losing you a little bit. It sounds like the wind's picking up there.
Yeah.
I clicked a button on my end, but yeah, it might not hurt to go back inside.
So I was saying that at the very end there, both the High Desert Nationals and the Copper State Nationals are $5,000 to win, $500 to start. and then $200 for those 2 races for B main non-quals. And normally ours are 150, but yeah, 200 for those nights.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, buddy, we don't want to take too much more of your time, and I know we didn't even scratch the surface of everything you guys got going on, but
anytime
like
you guys need someone, let us know.
Yeah. Well, I was just going to say, you have a bunch of people that help make it go round, and I definitely want to give you the opportunity to thank those folks and shout them out, because I know it's
thank you.
a big effort.
So both on my hat and on our shirt here, we have the Gertie Engines, and huge thank to Gertie Engines. They're not only helping us with financially on that end, but also with pill draw, and then, or not pill draw, excuse me, tech. Pill draw has been the same the whole time, other than now we're qualifying. I forgot to mention that earlier. Big thank you to Mesilla Valley Transportation. Royal has helped us so much with getting this thing started and keeping it running, and Hal Burns Truck and Equipment. They usually sponsor and are the sponsor of our redraw at intermission, and then of course we own G10 Promotions, which is the trailer, and big help. Thanks to my favorite nonprofit, Impact Outdoors New Mexico, that takes veterans on once-in-a-lifetime hunts, as well as to educational events with children, as well as fishing events with children. I'm actually going fishing with them tomorrow. Cocopah Speedway, Deuce Club, Thunder Speedway, Avanti Speedway, El Paso County Raceway, Cortez Fairgrounds Speedway. Thank you guys all, because without those people and those promoters, there's no way that we could have kept this thing going for this long and have these. But also thanks to those teams, the drivers, the fans, for coming out and helping us out. Yeah, absolutely. Well, again, man, appreciate you and your wife and everything you guys do for the sport, and hopefully we can learn some things and get you guys back up here and start coming down your way to partake in some of your events. So yeah, appreciate the time tonight, buddy, and we'll certainly keep in touch with you. All right, man. Thank you.
We'll be at Vado for sure too. So we're going to check into Sholo. I'll see if what our schedules look like, and maybe we get some guys down there. I know it's a pretty long tow for us, but sooner or later we're going to make it happen. But yeah, I know we'll be at Vado. So
Blair, share your number with them. Share your number, my number with those guys, and let them know if they text me a picture of their car and let me know they're coming. We'll do the Facebook shout out, the tow for the show for the greatest of the Southwest. Perfect. Right on, man. And we'll be there with the Bang Bus, guys. Bang Bus gonna make an appearance. All right, Gary Guinn on the Throwin Sliders podcast. Thanks, buddy. Thank you. All right, good stuff. Like I said, it's just refreshing to hear that there are still folks that genuinely care about the sport and trying to make it better, and not just trying to earn a buck. Like Blair and I laugh and joke all the time that if we were mega millionaires and had enough money to buy a track or whatever, we would try to do the same, but obviously we're not, and we just have a podcast to talk about it. So anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed that, and thank you to Gary and his wife for giving us an hour of their time tonight to talk about it. Again, that all came together literally during tech at El Paso County when Blair won. So very, very good people, as you guys got to see. So with that, we do want to, it sounds like Blair had a great weekend down there at Honor, rooting on the CMS Midget Series. So we definitely want to get into that. But before we do that, we want to shout out another one of our partners, Mountain Ops. You guys know what to do by now. The promotion code is back, alive and well. TS Podcast at checkout for 20% off. I will give Blair a shout out there, because every time I say this, he raises the Mountain Ops Cup, and that makes me think that is literally advertisement at his best. You can't script that. So
I'm a professional.
Thank you, Blair. He is a professional. So, and Mountain Ops, it's a good segue. They are professionals. So for anything you needed, outdoor related, hunting, fishing, outdoors, just being fit, supplements, all that stuff, please go check them out. I've got people hooked on the horchata flavored hydrate as of late. I will say I went fly fishing this weekend, as some of you guys saw in the post from yesterday, I think it was. Do not drink that after it's been sitting in a truck for a couple hours and not iced, because horchata warm is not a good concept, which is weird because infants drink warm milk when they're little, but do not recommend it hot, but definitely cold. So anyway, play the Mountain Ops ad, check them out. We appreciate your support and their support, And Blair's going to give us a recap of the CMS midget at Honor Speedway. Whether you're chasing checkered flags, chasing elk in the mountains, casting a line, or crushing early morning workouts in the gym, there's one name every high performer should know: Mountain Ops. This team fuels athletes, hunters, racers, and weekend warriors with the cleanest, hardest hitting supplements on the market. Let's be honest, this sport isn't for the soft. Late nights in the garage, long drives to the track, and hot evenings in the pits and in the car. We are built different. That's why we run on Mountain Ops. Their supplements hit hard, feel clean, and don't have all that junk you can't pronounce. From early mornings to late nights on race day, this is the stuff that keeps the crew moving and ready for the next lap. Want in? Head to mtnops.com, enter code TSPodcast at checkout, and get 20% off your order. That's right, enter code TSPODCAST at checkout for 20% off your order. You don't just want to show up, you want to win. Fuel like you mean it. Winners use Mountain Ops. Proud supporting partner of the Throwin Sliders podcast. Did want to, mention that, and Tara is not a fan of horchata, I'm finding out, so each their own. If you go to our stories, both on Instagram and Facebook, you will see a giveaway. I think it's good through next week sometime. For all you hunters out there, there are three opportunities, not three opportunities, but three bundles that you can win. One is for rifle, one is for muzzleloader, and one is for archery. So all you hunters out there that also enjoy racing or are just watching this podcast by happenstance, hopefully not, but definitely go enter to win. It's free, and you get a lot if you win that. And I actually know a friend of ours that goes on the second hunt with us that has actually won that. I think it was about 3 years ago now. So there definitely is a chance. You just never know, and it's just an awesome promotion that Mountain Ops does. Obviously, getting ready for the fall there. So definitely go check out our story. The link's in the story. You can click on it, enter. I think they just asked for I did it myself. It was phone number, email, and that was about it. So anyway, go check that out. Thank you, Mountain Ops. Let's get into Honor Speedway. Blair, what was going on?
Well, man, I just have to give a couple shout outs. My buddy Greg Thurlow got it done in his stock car. We talked about him bringing it out, and he put SpongeBob in Victory Lane, dominated all night. So really some good racing. They're still struggling to get that place rolled in. It's, early we were a little bit worried about it. Just really holding water on the bottom. They need some drainage there, but otherwise, once they always get that place figured out, it seems like pretty good racing. And Trimble and Roush in the heat races, they pretty much were, running away with it. Track got pretty hammered down, a little rough. I talked to Adam for a minute, said they were just bouncing off the side of the seat like football.
I can attest to that.
In there, but they lined up 9 cars, so it was actually good to see. I mean, compared to what we've been seeing in the midgets last year there, and Honor kind of struggling with some of these bigger classes, getting guys to travel, that's further from Denver or where guys are pretty centrally located.
May I ask you a question? Sorry to interrupt.
Sure. No, absolutely.
I've never obviously raced at El Paso, but is the bottom groove as bumpy as it is at Honor, or no?
I don't know that I've ever really ran like flat bottom at Honor. It never really bothers me there. I mean, it may be like I would consider it choppy, but no, El Paso's generally pretty smooth. It's just such a it just doesn't have any grip to it just doesn't have good bite. Sandy, right. Kind of, it's just different. Obviously when it hits rubber, it'll get grip, but it was still like when just around the bottom.
Yeah, I was just asking that because I remember back in 2023, like to get to the small track for the outlaw carts, we had to go basically obviously where the track entrance is, turn 2 there, off of turn 2, and then ride the back chute and then into 3 and 4. And man, when you're 2 inches off the ground with no suspension, man, it broke the pipe mounts, the muffler twice in one season, and I couldn't keep that thing on. But I was just curious, do you think that's a testament to the type of soil, or what
the sprint car will? I don't. It's kind of hard to say too, because that's even like a lot of the midget guys. I mean, it really just depends on suspension. Like a midget's going to get bucked around harder than.
No, I mean, like what causes the bumps at Honor versus El Paso or I-76?
Well, I think sometimes you're carrying it, depending on the classes. For speed. One, like it's just like asphalt. Yeah, as you're carrying a lot of speed into the corner, and a lot of times you can.
It's like a washboard on a dirt road.
Yeah, if guys are touching the brakes in a certain spot, especially when you get stock cars or the heavy cars, because they're going to use more brake, they're going to roll in and kind of button it up. Like as far as the sprint car, you can actually hear, like, say it's got grip, but it's still a little chattery underneath. You can, if you're too tight, you'll hear it sucking the right rear under and spitting it out. Like it's like boom, boom, boom in the car. You know, if you got your ears, you know, you could kind of feel it in the tire. But it's making a lot more grip too when it's got moisture in it. Then, so say they were evenly watered, you know, Honor's going to hold. It's so weird because it's all shale powder dirt with some old clay that's there. So yeah, it's definitely, you can get some bite at Honor, where I feel like El Paso just never, like, I've been there twice where it's hooked up, you know, and that's like fall with moisture down deep. And, but yeah, it doesn't affect us as much. I'm sure without the suspension, probably just rattle your brains out.
Not fun. Anyway, I just wanted to ask. Continue on. I just wanted to ask.
No, so you know, but the track changed a little bit. They ended up moving them to like third or fourth in the running order. Went and sat up top to kind of see what the cars were doing. Obviously, you know, I'm pretty partial to open wheel stuff, and you know, they put on a hell of a show. Trimble got out front early, and was probably half track ahead, lapped up to 6th or 7th place. But there was a driver. In fact, I follow him now, a Warren. Excuse me, I'm forgetting the first name, but you know, hadn't seen him before, and I think it was you know, it came down to like the last 5 laps. Trimble caught some lap traffic, and then you could see the show was going to start. He caught up to him, and then white flag had come out going down into 3. He put it on the inside of the door, couldn't quite make it stick, didn't wreck him for the win. But talk about, you know, them guys running.
That's awesome. Yeah,
swear, Caden Warren, yeah, so that was good to see. I mean, those guys all put on a show. You had Warren and then Roush, I think Mark in 4th. But anyway, they have the results posted. I reposted them, but just a good show all around and really fun to watch. So good to see. You know, I'm always an advocate for Honor Speedway. I think there's so much potential there. If they get some of the smaller stuff figured out, talk about a fun show to watch. So those guys were, it's funny too, when you see the smaller cars just absolutely look like they were screaming. Oh yeah. But pretty racy and good racing. Once they got to lap traffic, they went caution free and just put on a hell of a show. So that cool. Series just keeps getting better and better, but all around pretty good racing. In the modifieds, we had a long red flag. A couple guys got together. Randy Ecker took the bad end of it. We posted the pictures on our page. And man, he absolutely hammered the wall. Yeah, that came back to a dead stop, and he told everybody, hey, save the tires, because that was about all that was left. And I think only one of those. So good to see him climb out of that race car. And pretty fun all the way around. Saw some torn up stock cars and hobby stocks, but you know, just a normal good night of racing and a lot of fun out there. So I hope they keep getting some support and see some of these you know, what you would call upper divisions, you know, maybe keep growing, and maybe we can get the Southwest Desert Series guys out there too at some point. So they're trying. Yeah,
I think we have Gary's ears, so we could definitely make that happen. I need to get back down there, but man, it's a long drive back.
Yeah, that's what everybody. It makes it hard. So we got a spare bedroom. We'll throw you in the house, and, you know.
Yeah, I'll bring some protection. Being in Pueblo. Just kidding. Did want to shout out Gary Lane. Happy birthday, young man. It's his birthday today. So
he got a win on asphalt.
That's right. 3 weeks ago. So. Yeah,
a couple. I think 2. Yeah. Something like that. So
forgot to mention that. But so looks like all around success for the CMS. What is that? Their second timeout, third timeout this year?
Third, yeah, they went Garden City, El Paso, and then Honor. So they're hitting it pretty hard. And all those guys, you know, that's a good group of dudes. And I wanted
very
to talk
talented to too. Like, if you step foot in that, like, you better.
Well, and nice cars. I mean, it is good to see, because you know, with midgets struggling, a lot of these, you know, guys are bringing out, but there's some nice cars there. And you know,
shout out to
we talked with.
I was just going to say shout out to Samantha for posting that picture. I was like, damn, this shit looks like the Chili Bowl. Beautiful cars.
So, yeah, they were. But and I got to see Danny drove down there to push. So, you know, it was like a reunion. I've been, like I said, a little under the weather. So it's so funny now that I'm getting old. I took some like Tylenol, severe cold and sinus, even though I just have sinus pressure. You probably hear it in my voice, but been fighting that off for like 3 weeks. And I was kind of loopy. So, you know, I'm like, I was just walking around, and then I was like, we got home, and I was like, that's kind of a blur. Like, I can't even take cough medicine anymore without being weirdo.
It's a thing, man. Like, anytime I'm sick, if I take Dayquil or any of those, I'll definitely feel it. Like your mind's kind of like a tingly. I don't know how to explain it, but
Yeah.
glad you're on the mend. I certainly don't want you to get worse. So
everybody's been calling me KB because I've been sick
we
for
don't
3
want
weeks
that.
and just keep racing. So
we do not want that.
I mean, obviously that's not funny, but it's funny that they call me that even though I'm family.
No, it's serious. I mean, funny story that Saturday when you were racing in El Paso, the doubleheader, I went up to Wyoming to celebrate my birthday, and we bought my nephews a slip inside, and my sister texted us and was like, "Hey, bring your swim trunks. Like, we're doing this." And I was like, "Did you just see what happened to Kyle Busch? I am not going outside if the ambient temperature is less than 60 degrees. My ass is not catching pneumonia. It's not worth it." But no, it's a serious thing. Like, if you're feeling under the weather and it doesn't get better, certainly.
Yeah, it's just weird because I haven't felt like terrible, but that kind of nag it's been since before Holyoke, and it just keeps kind of like some days it's bad, some days it's not. So
yeah, go take you a shot of methanol and you'll be all right.
Just put my nose over the drum and clear it all.
Yeah, and to Mark Ashcraft's comment, Jen Woods made her inaugural debut in a midget, part of Hamilton Motorsports, so that was cool to see. And she kept it in one piece from what I understand. So congrats, Jen.
Yeah.
Good to see. More people in the midgets, the better. So now we need to get Blair in there full time. Chili Bowl, let's go. I'll tell you what, Samantha and Mark, I'll make a deal here live on the podcast. If we can get Blair a ride for the Chili Bowl, I will go down there and we'll do multiple episodes from the Expo Center, drunk, whatever we got to do. We will make that happen. So anyway, just an offer if you're so inclined, Blair, but I think you would be.
Oh,
anyways.
Yeah.
See, there you go. Oh, and Shayla. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Ernst. Yep.
Oh, she was in a midget?
Yeah. They're both. Yeah. They got two girls in the series.
Oh,
so
I didn't know that.
Her and Jen. Yeah. So it looks like she's in points, but yeah. So always, just racers.
Yeah. Well, looks like you're going to Chili Bowl, so we'll start getting logistics figured out.
We'll find a ride. It's going to be, I'll probably be driving like the Colfax Comet, but
hey, dude, that content is the best. So we'll park right next to him.
See if he'll spot me a ride.
Right. Yeah, exactly. You can get a little scooter like he's got too. We'll put a wrap on it, 32.
I better start growing my ponytail now.
Right. And next time I see Blaine Liu on it, that scooter better be fucking wrapped too. So that was the deal we made with him. So, all right. Well, that is a wrap for episode 66 here. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Had a great live audience and all the commentary and the comments. We greatly appreciate that. I will say it was hard to keep a straight face while interviewing Gary and watching all that. So I did my best with all the bang bus comments and everything else that was going on. So, but no, we appreciate that. Yeah. And I did not check the mailbag before the start of the podcast, but if you guys have not done that, please do that. Click on the link, drop us a line, whatever you want to say to us. We'll read it, we'll review it, and most likely play it on the next episode when we go live. So appreciate you guys. And is anybody racing this weekend?
I am.
Models. You are, yes.
Yes. Yeah. And we got some guys coming from the Southwest tour. They're going to make a 17-hour tow. I saw Gunner in there. So
where is
Saunders
it? And Sweetwater?
It's in Sweetwater, Rock Springs, Wyoming. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So, meth capital of the world, baby. Let's go.
Is it?
It's probably close.
Well, shit. I won't have to worry about being sick this weekend then.
That's right.
My heart's going to be humming in the car.
Yeah, there's not a lot. I mean, I've only been there a couple of times. My sisters were heavy into swimming, and one of their meets was there. But I know the state penitentiary's up there, and it's not a lot. But I've heard
I liked
a
it.
cool racetrack.
It's kind of a cool place. Yeah, it's an awesome racetrack too. So
it's kind of like Pueblo, right? So of course you'd like it.
Just desert, kind of flat. Yeah.
Well, that's not where I was going with that, but sure.
Oh yeah. We'll pack a Glock.
Yeah, of course. All right. Well, good luck to Blair and Tara. Is Tom coming with you?
Oh yeah. Oh, gotta have him. Yeah. No, and it says Mark. They said El Paso County Raceway is running this weekend, so check the schedule there. Got the alma mater with the Lightning Sprint guys. Kirk says so. Probably be a pretty good show and go check it out. So other than that, we'll stay up to date on the local stuff and go from there. But yeah, come check us out, buy some merch in Sweetwater, and let's hope we can go fast. I ran 4th place last year and 2nd, so I do love that place. We'll see if we can get up to the front.
There you go. Well, good luck to you, sir, and everybody else racing this weekend. Keep it rubber side down. Do not give us an opportunity to talk about how you did something stupid or flipped over anything like that, because we will. So just keep that in mind when you're in the main events this weekend. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that interview with Gary and his wife. We certainly appreciate their time tonight. But yeah, we'll post this one and go ahead and reshare, subscribe to our YouTube channel if you have not, and just keep the commentary coming. But with that, we'll be back again live next Monday, 7:30 p.m. Mountain. And until then, keep throwing those sliders. This was another production of Scrubbin' Tires Media. The Throwin' Sliders podcast is hosted by Blair Cooper and Brandon Hall. Video and audio was created by Bryce Holcomb. Please like, share, and leave a 5-star review. And as always, keep throwing those